Hi, my name is Jason Gilmore, and I am the author of Easy Active Record for Rails developers. Now, I've been a web developer for more than 15 years now, the past several of which have been spent developing a variety of data-intensive Ruby on Rails applications. And when I first was introduced to Rails several years back, I immediately fell in love with the ease in which you could use Rails Active Record to integrate with a database such as MySQL or PostgreSQL. However, as I started working on increasingly complex data-related features, I was constantly having to read the Rails API documentation or perform countless Google searches or read through dozens, if not hundreds, of Stack Overflow questions and answers, and in effect spent a lot of time researching the various ways in which one can carry out data-related tasks within a Rails application. So what I wound up doing was writing this book, Easy Active Record for Rails developers. And in the book, I really tried to focus on the key active record features that the typical Rails developer is really going to want to master early on in their Rails development career, namely tasks that are going to apply to a wide variety of projects, including validations, data filters, how to query your application's data in a variety of ways, how to create models, how to manage your schemas using Rails migrations tool. And I really wanted to spend a lot of time focusing on the features that really cause a lot of confusion among Rails newcomers, including the model associations. So in the book I show you how to choose and implement the belongs to, has one, has many, has and belongs to, and has many through associations. And I also devote an entire chapter to creating and integrating complex web forms into your application. So the book is broken into a total of 8 chapters, and in each chapter I try and tackle a key feature of Rails Active Record implementation. So in Chapter 1, I dive into models, schemas, and migrations. In Chapter 2, I show you how to load, validate, and manipulate your data, so namely insert it, update it, delete it. In Chapter 3, you learn how to query the database using many of the most common approaches to database querying with Active Record. Chapter 4 introduces associations, and as I mentioned earlier, I go into great detail introducing the belongs to, has one, has many through, and has and belongs to many associations. Chapter 5 dives into web forms. I start with a simple contact form showing you how to create a form that users can use to contact you. So the user fills out the form, and using a useful third-party gem, that form data is submitted via email and sent to your inbox. Chapter 6 discusses how to debug and optimize your application. I tend to spend a lot of time analyzing queries and really trying to figure out what went wrong more often than not. And so I thought this chapter would be particularly useful for newcomers because it's going to save a lot of time if you know how to effectively debug and optimize your queries. Chapter 7 dives into user account integration using the popular devise gem. And in addition to reviewing the fundamental devise features, I also jump into more advanced topics such as how to override the default devise views. And finally, in Chapter 8, titled Powerful Active Record Plugins, I just go over a laundry list of useful Active Record related gems that you can use to make your Rails application even more powerful. Now, personally, I very much prefer to learn about a new programming language or framework or technology in the context of a real-world application. So I like to look at useful, practical examples that will help me apply what I've learned. So if you head over to easyactiverecord.com, you'll notice there's mention of a companion project. And this companion project is called ArcadeNomad. Now, ArcadeNomad is a location-based Rails application that tracks the locations of retro arcade games found really anywhere in skating rinks or laundromats or the mall or restaurants or bars. So games like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, etc. And this is just an application that I've personally wanted to have for some time, so I thought it would be kind of cool to build it and use it as the theme application for the book. Now, if you'd like to, you can optionally purchase all of the exact same source code used for this demo application. And in fact, you can even play around with the application by heading over to ArcadeNomad.com. Now, ArcadeNomad.com is not a full-featured application. It's obviously something that I've worked on only in conjunction with the book for the purpose of showing readers how to implement certain key tasks or features. And it's broken down by arcades, games, categories. It uses location-based capabilities to determine what arcades might be near your particular location. I have a list of arcades, primarily from Ohio, but also I've listed a couple others that I found online. You can enter any one of these arcades, and you'll see a map. So it demos how to not only place a Google map within a web application, but how to drop a marker at the arcade's location. Each arcade is broken down by a category. In this case, 16-bit bar is a barcade, as they tend to call them. It breaks down the list of games that are found inside this particular location, and it also identifies other arcades that are located near this particular location. So really what I tried to do with ArcadeNomad is demonstrate a lot of key features that I think fellow Rails developers are going to want to understand how to carry out. As I mentioned, it's broken down by category, so we could enter, again, the barcade, and you'll find 5 barcades listed under this category. I've also integrated devise. So if you'd like to integrate the devise gem into your application for user authorization reasons, there's plenty of code within the ArcadeNomad application that shows you how to do that. So this is the sign-in page. Here's a page for creating an account. I've extended the devise user model to show you how to add additional attributes. So I think if I recall correctly, I show you how to include the user's first and last name. It's built on Bootstrap, so the application demonstrates Bootstrap integration. It's really just a well-rounded, fairly simple example application that I think readers are really going to enjoy. So I guess in closing, definitely head on over to the easyactiverecord.com website. What I've done is broken the book out into various packages. There's even a package that includes 1 hour of Skype consulting. So if you're new to Rails and Active Record and you have a series of specific questions that you'd like answered, well, I'd be happy to do that. This package, what I call the People's Choice, includes the book in a variety of formats, all of the ArcadeNomad source code, and free book and code updates for life. And I do regularly update the book, and you can learn more about the latest updates by clicking on this latest book updates link. If you're just interested in the book, well, there's a package available for you as well. And finally, if you'd rather not read the book and just want to have a look at the ArcadeNomad source code, well, you can purchase that as well. So hopefully this video-based introduction gives you some more context if you're interested in potentially buying the book. And absolutely, by all means, feel free to get in touch. If you have other questions, you can email me via the link found on the website. So thanks for your time, and again, feel free to get in touch with questions.